All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to where are we? The grass season on grass somewhere in the UK. We are on grass again. And Eala's back. We're going to watch her play Ryser. I'm going to eventually we'll get it right. But they've already played twice. Once this year and once 2 years ago. So a little bit of an interesting matchup because there's a third time they've played. It's 1-1 in the rivalry. Both matches are on hard courts. Both were on the Challenger circuit or the 125 circuit. In fact, this is the biggest tournament they've played against each other in. So the other events were a W25, which is a futures event, and W75, which again is a futures event. So let's see what it looks like when they play on this level. But Eala's number one seed. She's trying to make back-to-back wins in the first time in a while. So, yeah, let's see if she can get wins on grass back-to-back. Because, she hasn't won back-to-back matches since that Miami run. So she's trying to put together some wins. Ryser, on the other hand, she came to the qualies, got a couple of matches already, and she actually has got 3 wins in a row. Last week in Birmingham, she also came to the qualies and got 3 wins in a row before losing in the end to Stefanini. So she's been pretty decent. Whereas Eala took out Cabrera in the first round, but she was on a 4-match losing streak up until then. And like I said, hasn't won back-to-back matches since Miami, where, of course, she won 5 in a row, beating a bunch of Grand Slam champions along the way. So she's looking for back-to-back wins for the first time in a minute. And we are trying, and Ryser is trying to continue her good form on grass. Now, we have got other stuff going on as well. We'll keep an eye on what's going on in Den Bosch, what else is going on in Stuttgart. Zverev is playing later, so we'll see if his results happen at the same time as this. We'll see what goes on with that. But how are we doing? What's going on, chat? What is up? You look happy and relaxed? Yeah, I'm all right. It's nice to have time away. Or time off, not away. Yeah, I look great in that last match. Hope that match continues. Yeah, I hope so too. Let's see whether or not she can go back to back. And then later on we have Raducanu, so we'll keep an eye on her as well. Later in the day, she's playing in a Queen's Club though. And I don't know what the weather's like in London, but the weather here is okay, so hopefully we can get through without any weather. That's the problem with the grass season, especially in the UK, it rains. So yeah. So let's see. Cam, I don't think I appreciate that you said in earlier stream that Alcaraz will likely surpass Djokovic in Grand Slam trophies before the end of 2027. You will be 100% wrong on that prediction. Yeah, you just made that up. So I don't know what... I mean, you just made that up. So... But hey, at least we know now that you made it up. Mods. Vamos Alex. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what she could do. She looked all right in her first round. I mean, there was time. I mean, she didn't get broken that much. And the serve was a problem on the clay. So let's see whether or not she can have another good serving day. She only got broken, I think, twice in the last match, which has been a part of the game that people have criticized is her serve. So let's see if she can hold serve. You didn't say that. I must have misunderstood you. I deeply apologize for the attack on your morals. That's all right. Just make sure next time before you attack my morals that you get your facts straight. All right. By the way, there is a bit of a crowd. Not really, but there is a couple of people. Like it's a small, not even a stadium. It's a small venue, so there's not going to be too many people in the house. But yeah, but let's see. Let's see who rocks up. Hey, what's up, Deb? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Hercatcher got a back injury. Yeah, so I heard that. Sucks. That sucks. That sucks. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. But that sucks. Prediction on this match. My prediction is I'm going to go Eala in 3. Let's go, Alex, for the win. It's Filipino Independence Day, is it? Oh, nice. Nice one. But yeah, I'm going to go with Eala in 3. They have played twice, as I mentioned. They did play in 2023 on the hard courts, and Eala got the win 6-3, 7-5, and then they played this year in March, just before the Miami run, and Ryser got the win 4-6, 6-2, 6-2. So, but just before Eala took off, Ryser got the win against her. So she's trying to recapture that result, or like get that one back, right? Get that, reverse that defeat. Try and get some revenge. So let's see if that is what happens. By the way, also other matches going on today. We've got Medvedev versus Manarino, Poprin versus Bergs, Opelka versus Jarry. That could be interesting. Also, Evans versus Humbert is on right now. Hurkacz is going to play at this stage, but that could change. Zachary Mertens coming up later as well, over in Den Bosch. So there are a lot of matches. Of course, Raducanu taking on Shrimkova a bit later as well. Also, Rabakin is playing today. So yeah, so we've got plenty of tennis going on, plenty of grass court tennis. Also, Alcaraz is partying in Ibiza, so we probably won't see him for a while. If he rocks up to Queen's Club next week, he'll still be drunk. Why would he go to Queen's Club? There's no point. And I want him to play because I want to see him play. But yeah, Rockies keep blowing leads going into the late innings. Yeah, that's true. That's strike 2 today. Mods. But yeah, so we'll see what if Alcaraz actually rocks up next week, because Juan Carlos said he might not play Queen's Club. He's like, maybe. Musetti, Paul, and Berrettini all pulled out of Queen's Club already. Yeah, it might be just the Draper Open at this point. The Draper Open might be the... just give Draper the trophy. And let the fans go wild. Who's playing? So Draper, Musetti's gone, Fritz is there, Runa's there. Oh, Runa as well. Shelton, Demon. Yeah, it'd be Draper. If Alcaraz in there, it's Draper. It's the Draper-Runa final. That I kind of really want to see. Have Draper and Runa played recently? Besides Indian Wells final, have they played other times? Or is it just that final? I think it's just that final, right? But Draper on grass, I mean, that's no joke. By the way, Chad, I don't know what my internet is doing today. It is being a little annoying, but fingers crossed it's okay. It is what it is. Hopefully it'll be better for the next one. Runa in straights. They played in Cincy last year. Okay. Rooting for Alex. Well, she should be hitting the court any minute. Any minute. And then we can get going. Happy Independence Day to all the Filipinos out there. The German kid is beating Mickelson in Stuttgart at the moment. Nice. Is that 17-year-old guy? Awesome. For him. Sucks for Mickelson, but it's great for that guy. All right, here we go. Players walking out on court. And we are about to begin. Engel is someone to look out for. Yeah, I've heard. I mean, somebody mentioned him the other day, which was cool. So yeah, so that's fun. Not surprised by Musetti and Paul pulling out. A real shame for Matteo, though. Yeah, it sucks for Berrettini. I think Berrettini, he's obviously could be so good on grass, but he just keeps getting injured at the wrong times, But yeah, Musetti and Paul, they played so well in Roland Garros to get the extra week off. Makes sense. Well, Kohlschreiber as coach. Oh, really? He's got Kohlschreiber as coach. That's kind of cool. That's really cool. All right, players are on court. We are ready to go. Nice hanging out for a bit of tennis and fun. That's it. Like I said, this week's kind of a light week. It's not really a busy week, luckily. It's kind of chilled, so yeah. So we'll watch bits and pieces. Next week's busy, obviously, with Sinner playing Halle, potentially, and Alcaraz playing in Queen's Club, potentially. Also, the ladies are playing, potentially, at this rate, in Berlin. So next week is like the week of grass. Like next week's if there was a 1,000 level or 1,000 type week, next week is the 1,000 on grass week. Even though there's not technically a 1,000, it still feels like the next week is the most important grass court week. No Swiatek next week, but she is playing apparently the week after, so we'll probably watch Swiatek after that. But next week is like Sabalenka, Gauff, Pegula, Paolini, Zhang, Andreeva, Keys, Badosa, Osaka, Bencic, all coming into to Berlin. Berlin's usually the big one, and then as I mentioned with Queen's Club, you got Alcaraz, Draper, Fritz, Runa, and then over in Halle you've got Sinner and Zverev and Medvedev and those types. So yeah, so it's next week is crazy. I kind of wish they had. Look, they need to push. Either the French Open needs to go back earlier or Wimbledon goes back later, because we need 4 weeks of preparation for grass. Like that, we need, and I know it's probably impossible, but we need 4 weeks of grass preparations. I don't think having 3 weeks isn't enough, because the 1 week after the French, most of the people that made the quarterfinals at the French are not going to play straight away. Then you got to play the middle week. Otherwise, you have to play the week before Wimbledon, and nobody wants to play the week before Wimbledon. You don't want to be playing in Germany and then have to fly to London the next day after you win a trophy, and then you got to play 2 days later. I mean, they need to have an extra week. It needs to be 4 weeks of preparations, I reckon, just to give players an opportunity to play. Those middle 2 weeks are the most important. Instead of just making it like we have to play this middle week, otherwise you stuff yourself, But how do you change it? Do you move Wimbledon back? Do you move Wimbledon forward, or like further away, or do you move the French back? I feel like the French moving back and making Madrid a 1 week would make sense. Down with 2 week Masters, or Chad, I have a better idea. Make Madrid a week, or make Rome a week, and then make a 2 week Masters in the middle of the grass, or 1 week Masters. Get 1,000. Go. Next week is next week. The week after that's a 1,000. Then the week after that's a 250. Then the week after that's Wimbledon. How about that, chat? There we go. Vote for me for commissioner or whatever. I'm sure it's as easy as I made it. I'm sure that's exactly I'm sure that we could just have that happen my second day in as commissioner. Of the ATP and WTA, because, I'm sure that you can apply for both jobs and get them both at the same time. Solved. I'm the armchair commissioner. I'm the commissioner of the professional fan club. Professional tennis fan here, and I endorse this message. Solved it. We've created the perfect tour. Players are warming up. Eala's going to serve first. Eala is going to serve first. You're working 24/7? Yep. That is my job. All right. But here we go. Here we go. Let's see how Eala does. She hasn't won 2 matches in a row since the Miami Open run. Let's see whether or not today is the day that she breaks that drought. 7-5 on Bear. Let's go. Bear's in my team. Come on. Let's go. I feel like you lost a few pounds, mate. What, in the last, 2 days? But that would be, that'd be something. I'll take it. Yes. Thanks for noticing. Sure. No, I've always looked like this. It's just that, I don't know. All right. Who's winning this match, chat? I'm going to go Eala in 3. I'm going to go Eala in 3. As she serves a fault. Second serve. Who's in your team now? Good question. Is it a forehand now from Ryser, the backhand of Eala? Ryser backhand, forehand again, the backhand of Eala. Ryser's a right-hander, by the way. Eala's a lefty. Eala with a slice on the stretch. Ryser forehand, down the line winner. Good start, love 15. Yeah, who's in my team? That's a good question. So I've got Keys, Hurkacz, Raducanu, Zhang, Medvedev, Popyrin, Humbert, Jarry. And on the bench, I've got Alcaraz, Sinner, Djokovic, Sabalenka, Fonseca, Rublev, Wawrinka, and Muller. That's my whole team. Obviously, a lot of those players are not playing this week, so I benched them. But I've obviously got to keep Sinner and... I've got to get... Do I get Gauff for grass? I don't know if Goff's going to... Can Gauff win Wimbledon? I don't know. Is she going to go back? I don't know. 15-0. I mean, Sabalenka's going to win Wimbledon, so you got to have her. Alcaraz versus Sinner is going to be the final. Maybe I'll get Draper. Can Draper handle the pressure? I don't know. But I like my team. I bought in Medvedev. He's due for a win. I bought in Raducanu, who obviously is good on grass. Keys is great on grass. Zhang is unproven, but I had her anyway, so I kept her. So I like my team. I think my team's pretty good. 30-15. Go Eala. Nice. What about Bublik as a super sub? Ooh, nah, maybe I'll get Bublik. He might actually be going up in value after this week. Maybe I will get Bublik. Makes sense, right? As Ryser hits a return. Win up, 30-all. 30-all. I'd swap Fonseca for Mensik. Yeah, Fonseca might, and as much as I love Fons, I don't know if grass is going to be his favorite thing to do. So I might have to get rid of Fons and bring in somebody else. Fons has done a great job, though. He's gone. Maybe I'll get Fons for Bublik. Forehand from Eala into the backhand of Ryser. Eala forehand to the forehand of Ryser. Can that Eala forehand as Ryser goes cross court into the backhand of Eala. Down the line's a good shot. Ryser can't get it. 40-30. Maybe I'll get... Because, Bublik is still rather cheap. And Fonseca is also not that... Can I get Bublik for Fonseca, or do I need to... Oh, no, I can. Ooh, straight swap. Done. Fons out, Bublik in. That's a great swap. Bublik as a super sub might actually be a great idea. Anyways, deuce. And I got Djokovic in the team as if I ever need to swap him out. He is there. All right, deuce. Especially with Hurkacz injured, so Hubie might... I mean, Hubie might not be... Hubie might have to go out if he's injured. All right, deuce. My team for next week, though, is Sinner, Alcaraz, Sabalenka, Keys, Medvedev, Hurkacz, Raducanu, Zhang. It's crazy. All right, deuce. As we're a 4-1 winner from Eala. Advantage Eala. I swap Hubie for Bublik. Well, I've got Hubie and Bublik. I got rid of Fonseca for Bublik. I just don't know if Fonseca on grass is going to be a thing. I might bring Fonzie in for the hard court American swing, though, because when he goes to America, I feel like he's going to get a lot of... By the way, if the US Open don't put Fonseca on, I don't care who he plays, a qualifier or a lucky loser in the first round. If Fonseca doesn't get a main stadium first match, people are not paying attention. One love, Eala. Like, if you're the US Open, right, you have to have paid attention to at least pay attention to Miami. Because I don't expect Fonseca to get a show court at Wimbledon because I don't know if grass is going to be his thing. But on hard courts, he's proven that he can do stuff. He's obviously popular. People from Brazil are going to make the trip to New York. Like, if you are the schedule person for the US Open, you've got an extra day as well. Remember how they're making it start on Sunday? You put Fonseca on either the second biggest or third biggest court. I don't care if he plays 500 in the world first round. You put him on center court. He will sell that out. He will sell that out. I don't want to see like they did with Roland Garros, where they're like, oh, we'll put him on like the car park, and then if he wins, we'll give him an upgrade, and then if he wins again, we'll give him another upgrade. Just start this guy. Give him the second biggest stadium. Because you're obviously going to give Americans the biggest stadium, right? You're not going to put Fonseca over Fritz, even though maybe that wouldn't be the worst idea, based on potential sellout crowds. But you have to put Fonseca on like a massive court. Because I feel like they do the opposite, right? We've been doing the opposite. Every tournament don't seem to realize that Fonseca is a draw card until it's too late. And then by the time they give him the massive court, he loses. You got to give him the best court first, and if he doesn't draw the crowd, then downgrade him. That's the strat. Put him on the biggest stadium you got. Let's go with the Cincinnati. You put him on center court, Cincinnati. And if he doesn't sell that crowd out, then you give him second court or third. But give him the chance to be the guy. And if it doesn't work, you can always go backwards. Whereas putting him on like the car park and then people are like fighting to find a seat and everyone's pissed off that they couldn't watch him, that's not the move. That's a bad idea. 15:30, by the way. Ryser in trouble. But hey, chat, what would I know? We only watch tennis every single day. 15:30. As Ryser serves a fault, second serve. By the way, chat, tomorrow, well, it depends on results today, but tomorrow, we might, I don't know. I'm thinking I don't know. Do we save? Maybe we save as Ryser goes to 30 all. I was going to say maybe tomorrow we try and fit in a little bit of ATP, but I kind of feel like I don't want the next ATP match no matter what it is, it's going to be worse than the final of the French Open. I feel like we've got to wait. Next week will be ATP. Well, still, let's just remember that the last match we watched was the French Open final. And then next week, or maybe over the weekend, we might watch a final of like Stuttgart or something. If like we hit a good match, probably. There's a bit of 4 now from Ryser. That's a winner. And she gets the 40-30. Maybe next week maybe if we watch the final of like Zverev Fritz, if we don't watch that. Oh, actually Zverev versus Shelton could be a semi. Okay. Or maybe Fritz versus Zverev. I mean, Fritz-Zverev final is a no-brainer. We have to watch that at least for the memes. And Medvedev versus Humbert. Nah, I mean, the BMO Open is kind of miss. Hurkacz, Medi if it happened, but I don't know if Medi's going to make it. Oh, sorry, Hurkacz is going to make it. But maybe I'll watch Zverev Shelton. That might not be bad. But next week will be ATP week, obviously, along with everything else. 1-1. I might be Zverev Lehechka, but I want to see Zverev versus Shelton. I don't really want to see Zverev Lehechka. That's not as interesting. Because I also like Shelton, so I want to watch Shelton. I want to watch the player that I follow as well. All right, good hitting there from Ryser in his left 15. We need another Zverev Fritz final. Well, one of my predictions for the year is that Zverev will beat Fritz. So I need that final to at least maybe get a prediction right. I think one of the predictions was Zverev will finally beat Fritz in 2025. So I need that to happen. I need to tick that box. They haven't even played this year. It's been 6 months and they haven't even faced. So I need that to be a thing. As a return, goes the front of Eala. As with a slice from Ryser in the nets. 15 all. Lehechka looked solid yesterday. Well, Lehechka's going to be tough against Shelton. But I want to see Shelton versus Zverev. And then definitely Zverev versus Fritz. If we can get that, that'd be nice. That would be swell. Oh, sorry. 15 all. A bit of fault to conserve. Draw is out on the 23rd. Draw for what? Good serving from Eala. 30-15. Fritz is currently 19th in the race to the finals. Tough year. Yeah, he had a great start to the year at the United Cup and then hasn't really featured much since, right? I mean, he had a terrible clay season. Not that he's like the greatest clay court player ever, but he's definitely better than the results he had, 30-15. The return goes... Nope, that's a double fault. 30-all. Yeah, Fritz did have an injury, so obviously that sucks. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if he had an injury the entire clay season, but his clay season definitely struggled more than usual. He's been a lot better than on clay in the past. As Ryser hits the backhand. Hit the backhand of Eala. Forehand from Ryser. Eala gets there with a pass. Ryser with a drop volley. Eala's going to get there with a forehand slice pass shot winner. 40-30. 40-30. Has Feast ever played Sinner? I don't know. Gene, do you know that? Without me having to look it up, I'm sure you probably know what's up. He says he's recovering the ab injury that he had since Madrid. Okay. All right, well, that's good. I think Fritz... if Fritz made the semi-final of Wimbledon, I would not be shocked. Like, Fritz might be a dark horse for Wimbledon. Fritz could be a dark horse for Wimbledon. Am I going to put money on it? Depends how he looks this week. But if Fritz wins this week, I might even put $5 on him to win. I might do it. Chad. Don't test me. Anyways, 2-1 Yellow holds. I might do it. What's he got going into Wimbledon? He must be terrible odds. What's he paying for Wimby? It's a shame Berrettini ain't fit. Love watching his game. Yeah, on grass. Yeah, it just sucks that he's not fit. I mean, I'd be tempted to put $5 on Berrettini to win Wimbledon. Musetti and Fritz are definitely dark horses for Wimbledon. Yeah, Musetti definitely in probably more of a fan pick, but I feel like Fritz is going to be totally underestimated. Yeah, Fritz is paying like $34. Holy shit. Fritz is down there with Fonseca as favorite. Are you kidding me? You got Fritz and at the same level as Fonseca, and Fonseca's never played Wimbledon. That's crazy. That's crazy. Bublik's at $51. I don't know if that's worth... Nah, that's not worth it. He's not going to Wimbledon. It goes Sinner and Alcaraz are equal favorites, then Djokovic and then Draper. And then Zverev and Medvedev. That makes sense. Draper fourth favorite. That makes sense. Demon or... It's a bit low. I could see Fritz making the final. I'm doing it, chat. I'm backing Fritz. I'm backing Fritz to make the final. Without seeing the draw. I'm taking it. I'm taking those odds, chat. Those odds are good. I'm a Fritz fan, but don't have high expectations. That's all right. Then you won't get disappointed. But I have high expectations because now I have $5 on it. So, but I did pick Coco, so I'm on a roll. Chat, I picked Coco like months ago. And I picked Alcaraz. Anyways, love 15. And I picked 7 of the 8 semi-finalists. No big deal. With the only one being Boazana, but I don't think anyone picked her. And she beat Andreeva in the quarterfinals, who I picked to make the semi. So, you know, whatever. No big deal. I also said Fritz was going to lose early. No, and he did. No big deal. Don't worry about it. Love 15. As we serve down the backhand of Eala. Forehand from Ryser. The forehand of Eala is right. The backhand pass is in. Okay. Well shot. 15-all. But yeah, Fritz making the final. Remember this day, chat. 12th of June. Remember that guy on the internet? He said Fritz was going to make the final. And what happened? Made the final. Lost to Sinner in that final. But he made the final. And if he makes the final, he makes me look good. And if he doesn't, nobody will remember. Because nobody's here. All right, 54-30. Nobody's going to remember, so it's all good. It never happened if it doesn't happen. Will you mark your words? No, never. 30-all, good serving from Ryser. Never mark my words. I think Draper's going to have too much pressure on him, so I'm not picking him. I don't know. Three-peating is going to be wild for Carlos to do. Djokovic, depends on the draw. Sinner, I think Sinner makes the final. There's Ryser with the smash from the baseline in the net. Ooh, that's a tough smash. Tough smash. 30-40, break point. Did anyone clip that? Don't clip that. All right, 30-40. $30-40. As a default second serve into the forehand of Eala. Backing up from Ryser. Into the forehand of Eala. Ryser forehand cross. Court. Goes out. There's the break. 3-1. Low-key think most interesting match at Wimbledon final would be Draper Djokovic. Yeah. Like I said, I want to see Draper Sinner. I want Draper Sinner in a quarterfinal. That's what I want. I don't want to see Djokovic versus Sinner. I don't want to see Alcaraz versus Djokovic or anything. I want to see Sinner versus Draper at Wimbledon in the semis. The quarterfinal, sorry, in the quarters. Maybe the semis, but in the quarters. I feel like that's the match for me. Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev, Djokovic, Fritz, Draper. I don't think Zverev's going to make a run at Wimbledon. Medvedev's more likely to make a run based on history. Anyone back in Medi? All right, 3-1. $3-1. Eala loses the point, love 15. I feel like Novak will have more of a favorable draw due to him being lower ranked. I don't know if that makes sense. Djokovic is only going to get a favorable draw if he's number 4. That's the only time you're guaranteed to get an okay draw. because you don't have to play Sinner and Alcaraz till the semis. But he's not going to be number 4, I don't think, because he might be if Draper doesn't play well at Queens. Love 30. See, Djokovic is currently number 4. If Draper... Wait, did Draper win a tournament this time last year as well? Holy shit. Is Draper the defending champion of Stuttgart or something? Did I miss that? He is. Ooh, I forgot that. I forgot Draper... that sucks. So Draper might be number 5. And Djokovic could be number 4. It depends on Fritz. But the problem is Djokovic doesn't play this week. So Nole's not playing, which means that he could be as low as number 7, depending on results. But Musetti's not playing either. So Musetti... it's only Fritz and Draper that can push Djokovic out of number 4. Like Fritz, if he wins a couple more matches in Stuttgart, he will be number 4 in like a week. I don't think Draper could be number 4. I think Draper has lost too many points. So Draper's going to be number 5 or maybe 6. Even if he wins Queens... no, if he wins Queens Club... No, because he won't gain any points from Queens. So Fritz is in the best position to be number 4. So Djokovic needs Fritz to fall. And if Fritz can't take that number 4 spot, Djokovic will take it. Because remember, Draper's got 400 points to lose, 500 points next week to lose. Right? And Djokovic has nothing to lose until after Wimbledon. And then Fritz has points to lose too. Did Fritz win a title this time last year? So maybe Djokovic will be number 4. I read that Draper could take the number 4 seed if he makes the semis of Queens. Okay, so that'll be enough. Unless Djokovic comes in last minute as a wild card and is like, hey, I'm playing now. Joke's on everybody. And Djokovic might do that. Maybe he goes, Alcaraz pulls out of Queens Club because he's hungover and then Djokovic takes his spot, maybe. I don't know. Grabs those 500 points. Takes number 4, avoids playing Sinner and Alcaraz until the semis, and Eastbourne. Okay, that's what Fritz won last year. Okay, but that doesn't really matter. If he loses Eastbourne points, it's after the seeds are set anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so that'll be interesting. Next week's gonna be interesting. Who's gonna get the number 4 seed between Fritz, Djokovic, and Draper? It's gonna be fun. Be a fun little side quest next week. Break point for Ryser, by the way, 30-40. 30-40. 7 to the backhand of Ryser. Ryser hits it out. We get the deuce. Cam, do professional players usually travel with a sports psychologist like Iga? Some do, not all. Jabeur does, kind of. Didn't she? Chat, remind me. I think Jabeur did for a time. She had a sports psychologist on the team. But most of them, I think, just do Zoom calls. Like, Rublev has a sports psychologist, but he just calls them, I think, on the phone and has, like, video calls and stuff. At least that's probably the majority of players if they do have a sports psychologist. It's probably like most players probably have accountants. So it'd be like an accountant, like have them on call. So if you need them, you can call them and you can book an appointment online anywhere in the world, as we get to 4-1 Eala. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of players would probably have a go-to sports psychologist that they could, talk to if they need to. Whereas I don't know if anyone there's not many players that have a traveling sports psychologist there for every single match. That is rare. It's sort of, I feel like it's kind of like a need to have basis. You know what I mean? Like it's probably just like everyday life, right? It's sort of if I need you, I'll call you. Not like I need constant feedback, right? So it is rare, but it's not, it worked, right? Swiatek was playing great for a long time with that setup, right? So it's not like it was a bad thing. I think I don't know if it was Collins or if it was Ostapenko had a coach that was also Was their coach? Did their coach was a sports psychologist? One of them had a coach that was like not a tennis coach. There was like something, and then they also they were coaching tennis though. They were something, and then they did something else, and then they got elevated to coach. I don't know what it was. Like sometimes trainer, like Patrick Mouratoglou was a hitting partner. Sorry, not Patrick Mouratoglou. Sasha Bayin, who now is a tennis coach, right? He coaches a lot of big names, or he has. He was Serena Williams' hitting partner until he was under Patrick Mouratoglou, learning while he was being a hitting partner, and then he went off and did his own thing, right? So that's not unheard of. But yeah, Swiatek is the only one that I can think of that has a sports psychologist in the box every match. Yeah, look, we're not going to speculate on what, because I don't want to do that. We're not going to speculate on what, on Swiatek's love life, all right? We're not doing that because, one, it could be all just nothing, which means that's not fair to just be, talking about someone's life, which no confirmation. But also, it's none of our business. So, whatever the case is, it doesn't matter. Even if it is, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? Do you do professional... Rain, I literally just answered your question for 5 minutes. Are you not listening? I answered your question. We've been talking about it for like the last 5 minutes. Are you muted? Hello? Hello? Are you not listening? You've already said it. I just talked about it for ages. Hello? What the hell? 15:30. Are you a bot? What's going on? Anyway, that goes out in the net by Ryser at 15:40. 15:40. Eala's kicking ass. As Ryser has a fault second serve. Second serve. Double fault, and there's the 5-1 lead. Eala is smoking it today. All right. I swear people just cut and paste the same questions, don't even listen. DJ. It's life. Probably asked the question, went on TikTok, and then came back and went, oh, did he answer it? So. Hey, look, a bug. Oh, look. Oh my God, it's a plane. You know what I mean? All right, 5-1. Yeah, this is the second round. Winner of this will play the quarterfinals. 15 love. I don't know who the quarterfinals, who's in the quarterfinals though. Let me check. $15 love. Winner of this will take on either Marino or Appleton. Marino is no joke. Marino is no joke. So that'd be interesting. Tomorrow. Ian, stop being a smart ass. 15 love. As a return from a double fault from Eala, 15-0. Yeah, Marino's playing right now, right? I think she was playing earlier. So Marino is losing to Appleton. It's 5-2 down. Marino's a grass specialist, but she's losing, so if you're an Eala fan, that's probably a good thing. 30-15. Eala 2 points away from the first set. Dominating first set as well. Serve again. Ryser to serve into the backhand of Ryser. Ryser on the net, 40-15. Eala 2 set points at the first set. Right, Eala with the serve. What's up, Michelle? How you doing? As we serve in the front of Ryser, backing out from Eala. In the front of Ryser is Eala forehand on the stretch. Ryser backhand. In the net, there is the set. 6-1. Dominating first set. 6-1. Easy as that. All right, should we not take to reach semifinals at best? What at Wimbledon? I mean, I don't know about that. Depends on a draw. Great set from Eala. Yeah. 3 double faults, but beside that, didn't get broken and broke twice with the 2 break points asking. 78% of first serves in, 77% of points won. 34% second serve points, but luckily she didn't hit that many second serves. A lot of first serves in. So it was a great set. Ryser needs to get a much better. I mean, that was a terrible set from her. But yeah, great set from Eala. Great serving from Eala. Alex Bakery, that's it. Let's see if she can keep that serve going. By the way, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Eala playing wonderfully. Great to see. Yep. Do you think Raducanu will win a career Grand Slam? Do you think she's going to win all the slams in her career, or do you think, or is she going to win a slam? Because she already have a slam. She has the US Open. She already won a slam. It's the US Open 21. I'm confused by the question. All right, Ryser to serve. What are Osaka's chances of Wimbledon? Depends on her draw. Thanks for covering this. No worries. What's the difference between grass and clay? Never watched Wimbledon before. The speed of the matches it's way faster tennis, way faster shots, but also not as many long rallies. More winners. Usually more winners, so more fun. Okay. Love 15. Love 15. Love 15. As that goes in a return, 15 all. What are Eala's advantages and disadvantages on grass? Advantage, it'll help her game get that little extra pace. Disadvantage will still be the serve. Like, the serve will still be... The second serve is still... So the second serve, if her second serve is vulnerable, it'll get attacked still. So, but she might win more first serve points because the courts are quicker. So her first serve might be a little bit more aggressive, which if she gets a lot of first serves in like she has today, she won't have to hit second serve. So then she doesn't have to be vulnerable about her shots. But also, her ground strokes are going to be a little bit more punchy. So, and thankfully today we haven't had any haters because all the haters are, gone to bed. But Eala's game on the clay, the biggest issue was, unlike Miami, where she was able to hit so many winners and play so aggressively and play so successfully, she wasn't getting that same punch from the ground on her ground strokes as she was on the fast courts of Miami. So that's why I'm so keen to see what she looks like on the grass, because grass usually favors that kind of aggressive style, right? And so far, today she's playing really well. So yeah, I'm really keen to see how she does, because I think that I think that I said haters and one of them woke up. Oh, you speaking to me? I'm not speaking to you. So yeah, so I'm excited to see how Eala looks because I think her game should. I'd be shocked if she was as poor on the grass as she was on the clay. Like her clay was not her surface. We know that. We saw that. We knew it beforehand. Like if you look at the stats, you go, she hasn't played much clay court tennis, and then you look at the results and you go, okay. So clay is going to be a problem every year unless she, makes an effort to work on that. And she will eventually if she gets, because most players, get good on the surface they're best at, and then they learn the other surfaces. So I don't expect her to be a great clay court player next year, but she's probably going to focus on the courts so she can win on hard courts and get the ranking up and then work on other stuff. But I would be surprised if she didn't do well on grass, considering it is a quicker court than the clay, and her game, her game was so good in Miami. We only have one tournament to base it off, but the faster the courts get, the more we can dissect Miami compared to now, right? The clay court tennis doesn't. We can't compare that to how she did in Miami because good or bad, right? We can't be like, oh well, she's really bad compared to Miami. It's like, yeah, but clay's a totally different surface. Miami is a fast hard court. It's not even like Indian Wells. If she did well at Indian Wells, we'd probably expect more on clay, right? Like Draper. But in Miami, Mensik didn't do much on clay. I think he made a quarterfinal, but we didn't expect Mensik to do well on clay like he did in Miami because we know Miami's not the same court. So those people that didn't... First, advantage Eala, by the way. She hits a backhand into the front of Ryser. Front of Eala. Ryser with a pass. Eala with a volley. Winner, and there's the break. I think. No. Yes. No. She hit it out. Back to deuce. So those who are fans of Eala now probably realize, oh, okay, tennis courts are all different, right? Miami is not the same as Madrid and not the same as Rome and whatever. But also the people that don't like her, who every time we talked, she lost a match on clay, was like, oh, she sucks, she's terrible. They obviously don't know there's differences in court speed either, right? But these courts are closer to Miami when it comes to speed. So you would think that the things that made her successful in Miami should make her successful in these kind of matches, right? Which is why I think we'll get a better idea of her week-to-week consistency. And obviously the next best thing is going to be when she goes back to hard courts and Cincinnati and US Open and those, and even the Asian Swing. Those tournaments are going to be a better indication of her, consistency rather than just like Miami and then clay, right? Advantage Eala. So we'll see. So I'm excited to watch her on the grass because it is more accurate. We can make a better comparison to that Miami run and these results, right? Am I making sense, chat? I know most of you probably already know that, but maybe some of you are new to the sport. Is it a backhand to the forehand of Ryser? Backhand out from Eala again to the forehand of Ryser. Break point for Eala here. She hits the backhand down the line. Ryser with the backhand in the net. And there's the break. 1-0. 1-0. 1-0. I feel like you really love explaining tennis stuff for the new fans, and that's really cool. Haha. I mean, some people that have been here for years probably also might have learned something. So, I mean, my job, I feel tennis has had an issue with explaining things in a way that everyone can understand. I think, and if you watch tennis on TV and you've never watched tennis before, and it's not anyone's fault, but I feel like when you watch tennis on TV, you have to know a lot about the sport to understand what they're talking about. There's no because they're not getting asked the questions that you ask me, which might seem like basic questions, but they're not going to explain things in basic terms because I think on the TV, there's almost like a level of you need to know a level of things to understand what's going on and to understand what they're saying and how, all the lingo and stuff. But if you're new to the sport, how the hell are you supposed to know all of that? Whereas here, we have a unique situation where you could ask me the most simple tennis question, like how many serves do you get? And I can tell you. You get 2 serves unless, it hits the tape and goes in, and then you get an extra serve until you get, but if you miss 2 serves, you lose the point, right? I can answer those questions because you can ask them to me and I can read them. And then that way, hopefully, when you watch tennis on TV, you'll hopefully you'll understand things a bit better, so then it makes it more fun to watch. Rather than looking at it and being like, this is confusing, I don't understand why. What's the score? What the hell is this score line? Who's serving? Why are they serving? What's going on? Where can they hit the ball? Where can't they hit the ball? Like all the stuff that you won't learn on the TV won't tell you because they assume that you already know that. There's like a level, there's like an entry level of, knowledge that you need to watch tennis on the TV. But here, I can tell you, ask me basic questions, whatever it is. I can give you the answers, and hopefully that'll make it more enjoyable. Because if you don't understand the sport, then you're not going to enjoy it, are you? I don't watch sports that I don't understand to some level, Because if it's too confusing, you're just not going to watch it, and that means we'll lose you, and you won't come back. So that's why I like explaining things, so that everyone can kind of get an idea of what, because there's probably one person asked a question, but there's probably like 5 people that don't know that answer, needed to know that answer too, right? What is a fault and a let? Sorry, I'm confused. So a fault is when the ball either goes in the net or doesn't go in the service box, which is this area here, right? And a let is when the ball hits the net and goes into one of these squares. So a let is when it hits the net, goes in on a serve. And a fault is when the ball goes, basically, this is where this board saves me so much more time. You have to hit the ball here, right? So that's where you have to serve it within one of these squares, depending on where you're standing and which side you're serving. That's where the ball has to go. If you hit it here, fault, 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 fault. Anywhere else outside of that box is a fault. But if it hits the net, so you serve, and it hits the net and goes in, but it hits the net, that's a let. If you hit the net and it goes out, that's a fault. The ball has to bounce in this box to start the point. I feel like that's the easiest explanation. Does that make sense? That's what the difference between a let and a fault is. Now, some would say that lets they should have lets, and that if the ball goes in the service box, even if it's, by the way, back on serve, if the ball goes in the service box, even if it hits the net on the way through, it should be considered play on, and you should play. But not yet. Not in the current game. You got banned? I'm going to watch Batman. Why'd you get banned? You didn't get banned. You literally didn't get banned. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, love 15. Like, I'm looking and you have not been banned, Wormo, so I don't know what you're talking about. Love 15 is Eala hits a return. And that goes out. And after a few years, you understand more and enjoy watching tennis more. Cam hooks you and draws you in. Well, I hope so. Whiteboard Williams. Please don't call me that. So yeah, hopefully that explained it. That made sense. Good explanation. 15-all. As a return from Eala goes long, 30-15. Can Paolini get into the Hall of Fame? Right now in singles, probably not. But in doubles, maybe in the future. Maybe as a doubles player. Potentially. Because she has got a lot of doubles success. 30-15. As we got a fault from Ryser. Second serve. You're watching the WTC Championship. It's fairly interesting. It's very interesting. I don't know what you're talking about. As we're back in slice from Ryser goes wide. Long, sorry. It's 30-all. 30-all. 30 all. As Ryser serves the forehand of Eala. Return goes to forehand of Ryser. Eala backhand. Into the forehand of Ryser as Ryser hits it long, and it's 30-40. Break point for Eala. Break point Eala. Why do you think Eala's always playing 125s and not 250s or 500s? Yeah, I got to be honest. I'm a little surprised as well that she's playing these events instead of playing the bigger events. But I guess just for confidence, you know. As it slides from Eala into the forehand of Ryser. Ryser hits out. We're back with a break for Eala. 2-1. I'm surprised as well. I didn't think she would after her ranking got her to a point where she could probably play. But I guess the alternative is, she's going to go play a 500 event and be unseeded and possibly lose. Or she could be the number one seed at this event and try and get like some more wins, right? So I don't mind her doing this and playing like this, but I would be very surprised if she gets into the top 50 that she keeps playing these events. Because after a while, I mean, top 50, why would she come and play this? You know, but right now she's like 75, so, you know, she's still, you know, look, she's obviously still trying to get confidence too. Last week, it made so much sense she played on grass because there was nothing else to do. It was either wait until this week or play on grass. So Mensik played last week and he lost and he's like top 20. So last week made total sense that she would play. I don't know. I don't know why she didn't play. I guess not playing Queen's Club because she wasn't ranked high enough, maybe, or she was maybe unseeded and she didn't want to play unseeded. I mean, that could have been a problem. But I don't know why she didn't go to the Netherlands. But then again, maybe she wanted to be in the UK, and this is in the UK. So I don't know. Is she playing next week in the on the main? Is she playing in Germany or in Nottingham next week? I'll tell you what, she might be playing Nottingham, but she will be unseeded, I think. I doubt she'll play Berlin. Berlin is stacked. And unless you get a wild card to Berlin, you're not going to make the cut. Let me have a look. Is she on the entry list for Nottingham? Yeah, so she won't even make the cut for Nottingham because Nottingham cutoff is 56. And that's a 250. So, yeah, so she's not even making the cut next week for the smaller event. It's pretty cutthroat to make these events. So, again, no surprise she's playing these kind of events because she probably couldn't get into the other events, you know? Eala's definitely playing Wimbledon, though, yeah. All right, love 30. Chance for Ryser to break back. She's definitely playing Wimbledon, though. She won't have to play qualies or anything. But Eala on the... Is she playing next week in the 125s? She's got to be playing 125s next week too, right? Actually, there's no... Unless she goes to America, she can't play next week. There's no grass court 125s next week, so... Unless she goes to like way back to like ITF, she won't play. She'll probably have next week off. Anyways, love 40. So this might be she might not play next week, and then she'll play the week after that, maybe in Bad Ornberg or something. Or maybe she plays Eastbourne, because Eastbourne might be a little less stacked. Yeah, she probably gets into Eastbourne because the number 8 seed is 40 in the world. So yeah, she might play Eastbourne 250 in a couple of weeks. You know, it's 1540. And she doesn't have to play quali, so she can play Eastbourne and not have to worry about qualifying for Wimbledon. So, you know, so that's good. She doesn't have that extra pressure of having to, you know, be there. Be there for the pardon me. Be there for the qualies the week before. So you can rock up to Wimbledon the day before she plays. And the main draw. Anyways, backhand goes out by Eala, and we back on serve. 2-2. 2-all. Yeah, Eastbourne is a 125. 250, sorry. Eastbourne is a 250. Is Uncle Tony Eala's coach? No. Why would Uncle Tony be her coach? He was in the box one day, one time, right? What do you think about American media constantly bringing up Sabalenka comments to Gauff in every interview? Because Gauff's American? That's probably why. Because they're talking about the player that... That's why, maybe. I mean, that makes sense, right? Sabalenka said some things that weren't so nice about Gauff, and people got angry. Mainly American people got angry because that's their champion. And it's 15-all. A 15-all. But Sabalenka apologized, and even Coco gave her the benefit of doubt. Yeah. I don't know. All right, 15-30. As the return goes wide by Eala, 30-all. I feel like they should have honored Federer the same way RG honored Rafa. Wimbledon are never going to honor someone like that. Chat, we gotta. I mean, they should, and so should Djokovic at the Australian Open. But as we get to 40-30, we got to remember this, chat. Right? Remember this. Before that Roland Garros Rafa tribute, we hadn't seen anything that good or like that. Really, when was the last time? When was the time that we actually saw something like that in the past? Sampras, Agassi, Serena. I mean, none of those champions got that kind of a deal. Federer, no. Murray, not yet. I mean, the greats of the game never really got that tribute. So, how were they supposed to know that that's how we should do it before it was even done? So what's happened now? It should be before Rafa's tribute and after Rafa's tribute, because the next person who gets honored, that's the level you have to do it at. Especially if you're one of the greatest of all time, right? I guess if you're not if you're not of that level, you can get away with just doing the standard tributes that we used to do. You know how it was just like, hey, play a montage and have a speech and cry. You know what I mean? But now, if you are like a huge impact on the sport, or you're a huge star with multiple Grand Slams and all that stuff, if you don't, like Djokovic coming, when he retires, he needs that Rafa send off, because the Rafa tribute set the bar, right? Whereas before that, we were all like, oh, Federer should have got that, but we didn't know what could be done, right? We didn't know that. How do we know what we don't know, right? Advantage Eala. As we return now from Eala to the backhand of Ryser, backhand from Eala into the forehand of Ryser. As Eala backhand on the stretch. But no, Ryser hit it out. 3-2. A lot of breaks in the second set. So yeah. Wimbledon should have done that for Federer, but they also probably didn't realize that is something that could be done. So we can't really, I don't think we should be judging what happened, like the tributes of the past, comparing it to the one that we just had. But the ones from now on, we should definitely judge, especially depending on greatness. Like if you're Stan Wawrinka, you'd expect Basel to do a really good tribute, right? Or wherever he retires, Roland Garros, whatever it is. But again, he's not on Rafa's level, so you don't. It should be the tribute can't be the same for everybody who retires, right? That's not going to happen. Rafa, 14 French Opens, that's such a unique situation. But Djokovic is Australia, right? Maybe even Murray at Wimbledon, right? This year or next year, whenever. Those kind of, because he broke the drought for them, and they were, there was so many years, like 70, 80 years between champions. He did something significant that should be recognized. That's the level of, if it's not on that French Open level for those kind of players, we're all going to judge it. But we can't go back and go, oh, blah, blah, from, 2001, that wasn't as good as Rafa. It's like, yeah, but also back 2001, or even 2022 Federer Laver Cup wasn't as good as the Rafa tribute. Of course it wasn't, because we didn't know that the Rafa tribute, we didn't have anything to judge it off. We're just like, oh, it's just a nice tribute. Like that set the tone for forward. You know what I'm saying, chat? You know what I mean? We can judge it retrospectively, but that's not fair. The Laver Cup was a standard tribute. It was a good tribute. But if the Laver Cup tribute came next year and it was the same as it was in 21 or 22, we'd be like, that wasn't as good as the Rafa tribute. Why is that? Why didn't Federer get the same treatment, right? So yeah, hopefully that made some sense. Anyways, 15 love. But I would be shocked if Wimbledon tribute to anyone, because Wimbledon don't do that. They don't really do that. I mean, they're giving you royal box seats forever. They're going to celebrate you every time you walk out on the royal box. So, I don't know if they're going to go out. They're definitely not going to put a foot thing on the court, or they're not going to put a footprint of chalk or anything. That's not going to happen. They're not going to name a stadium after anyone, because they don't do that. Center court, court one. They're never going to change that. I mean, Andy Murray's had to be. He got a court named after him at Queen's Club, because Wimbledon were never going to say Andy Murray Arena. That's never going to happen. They named a bunch of grass after Henman, right? They called they went, oh, there's a hill, Henman Hill. You can, where people sit on you. Sit on the people sit on the grass, right? It's like, oh, that mound of grass that people sit on. Yeah, that's the tribute. Not even is there a plaque? I mean, I've been there. Do they have a statue? No. None of that stuff. It's not a thing. It's just not part of the Wimbledon tradition, right? 30-15. And as the other serves again, trying to keep this break this time. 30-15. As the return goes in the forehand of Ryser, Ryser slices it back into the forehand of Eala, and Eala puts it away, 40-15. Yeah, Wimbledon is traditional, and I like that. The thing with Wimbledon is that they're consistent, right? So we don't expect anything out of Wimbledon, because they've never made special treatment for anybody, even the locals, right? Even their own players. Andy Murray's not getting any special tribute. Because that's not something they do. 40-15. As the backhand goes wide by Ryser, it's 4-2 Eala. Cam, you just don't want them to name Centre Court Queen Emma Raducanu. Why would they call it Queen Emma Raducanu? That's a wild name. Why would they call it that? I mean, the US Open haven't even given Serena a court. So, I mean, it's not... It's not that simple, right? Does the other on grass remind you of Radwanski return play on it? Interesting. I'll keep an eye. Maybe. All right, left 15. Love 15. Serve again. And the return goes to the backhand of Ryser. Backhand of Eala on the stretch. Ryser forehand is a winner, 15-0. They did do an on-court ceremony last year for Andy at last year's Wimbledon. Yeah, but it wasn't on the same level as Rafa's, right? Which, again, we shouldn't judge it on that, because we didn't know Rafa's ceremony was going to be so damn good. And so, such a massive part of, massive deal, right? Massive part of the first week. That might have been the highlight of the first week, was the Rafa ceremony. Not much else was going on. I always learn something new when I watch you. Hey, that's good. I'm glad. 30-15 as the return goes into the net from Eala. 40-15. Did Serena get a retirement ceremony at the US? I don't think so. Yeah, Rafa is a special case. I know. All right. As Ryser goes in the forehand of Eala. Back into Ryser. Into the forehand of Eala. As Ryser forehand to the forehand of Eala. Into the forehand of Ryser. Ryser hits it out. And it's 40-30. Serve again. It's a fault. Second serve. It's shocking they didn't give Serena a ceremony. Maybe Serena didn't want one. Yeah, I do remember Serena wanted a quiet exit after a loss. Exactly. I don't think she wanted to. She probably didn't want a song and dance after her match. She wanted to keep it low key. Anyways, 4 now from Ryser is long and it's deuce. Do you know any information on the special role that Roland Garros offering it out? I have no idea. Sorry. I have no clue what you're talking about. I haven't heard anything. As the return goes back in Ryser. Ryser heads out. Advantage Eala for the double break and to serve the match. Anyways, I feel like we've just spoken about other players this entire stream. Sorry, everybody who was here to watch Eala. Sorry that we got sidetracked. Advantage Eala. She is almost into the quarterfinals and winning back-to-back matches for the first time since Miami. First as a fault, second serve. Second serve. Double fault, 5-2. Eala's going to serve the match. We're going to watch Raducanu later. She'll be on later. Hopefully in the next couple of hours. All right, 5-2. Eala serving for the match. 1 hour played, by the way. Very quick match. We love this. Watching in Italy. Nice. By the way, shout out to everybody in the chat. This has been actually a really chill. This is probably the nicest Eala stream since Miami. Only like one person complained. So that's very nice. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. It's nice. Chat, it's so much nicer to watch matches when people in the chat aren't criticizing who we're watching. So much nicer. We can actually talk about things. Don't worry, we'll watch Raducanu later, and I'm sure all those people will be like, I'll show you. Just you wait till the next one. The trolls are waiting for the Emma match. Yeah, maybe we're on a little bit too early. It's a little bit early for maybe the for people to be harsh. But later in the match, later in the day, I'm sure that we'll get one or two people. I'm sure. All right, Eala serving the match, but also Eala's winning easily, so there's nothing to talk about. At least nothing negative. She hits a lovely drop shot. Oh no, Ryser gets it, but Eala's got the forehand winner. Trolls are tired after the French. Maybe they just got banned. I can't remember. Maybe they all just disappeared. Maybe they all went outside and touched grass and they realized they had an epiphany. All right, 15 love. Watching from Oman. Go Alex. Hey. I worked on a project in Oman once upon a time. It was at the airport. Anyways, backhand goes into the forehand of Ryser. Eala forehand of the drop shot of Ryser. Eala's going to get it though. And hit a drop shot back. Ryser's going to get there with a slice. And then Eala with a volley in the net. Oh, that would have been a great shot. 15-all. 15-all. Cam, did you hear about Sabalenka bullying Eala in the locker room in Miami? No, but that also sounds totally made up. So I didn't hear about that, and I don't know where you heard that. But it kind of sounds fake. So you either heard it wrong and somebody made that up and made you believe something that didn't happen, or you're making it up, and that's just not cool, man. 15-all. You're either misinformed or you're trying to talk. I don't know. What are you doing? Anyways, forehand goes into the forehand of Eala. Ryser back into the line. Eala gets up with a slice. And then a backhand drop shot by Ryser, 15-30. That was fake. I saw that too there. Look, chat, you just... I know it's always been the case, don't believe everything you read on the internet, blah, 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 blah. But I feel like even more so in 2025, it's almost like don't believe what you see on the internet. It's getting even crazier. So if you do see something that you've never, especially if I've never said anything about it, not saying that I know everything about everything, but if something like that had happened, I would have said something. Or we would have talked about it. We would have talked about it at the time. We wouldn't have talked about it, left it. We wouldn't have ignored it until now. So if you haven't heard that from me, it's most likely hasn't happened. Or if you haven't heard it from someone in the chat. If we haven't spoken about it, because usually we speak about most things, that would have been something we spoke about. If you haven't heard us speak about that, then it hasn't happened. Because we talk about pretty much all the, especially big stuff like that. That would have been a big thing to talk about. So yeah. I saw it on an Instagram reel and already called it BS. Oh yeah. But if you want to come in here, that's fine if you want to come in here and ask me, is this real? Because most of the time, it's probably not real. Because there are a lot of troll accounts out there now, which are really, really frustrating. There are people that are, there are a lot of, and I get it, we all like to have fun and make jokes and whatever, but unfortunately, the news news channels are now becoming parody channels where they make up quotes and you're like, that's not helping anybody. As that goes in it from Horizons Deuce. We had someone come in here the other day talking about something, I can't remember what it was, but it was coming off a trolling tennis news thing. And they're like, oh, whoops, I got it from the wrong source. That stuff really is frustrating because, unless you know that that's not real, you're going to see that and think it's real, right? Not that I think those things should exist, but there should also be a real big, red flag warning saying this is not real. Just so then people don't get misinformed or things like that happen. But that's, or just avoid those kind of things. There's goes the net from Ryser. Eala's got a match point to take her spot in the quarterfinals. Advantage Eala. Serving to the backhand of Ryser. Into the backhand of Eala. Ryser with a forehand. Into the forehand of Eala. There's Ryser backhand. Into the forehand of Eala sliced. Into the forehand of Ryser. As Eala backhand. Nope, Ryser hit it out. There it is. What a win. What a great win from Alex Eala. The best win and the best week she's had since Miami. GG's. All right. Nice work. And plus against somebody that she's lost to this year, to take her at 1-2, great win. And Eala's into the quarterfinals. Love that for her. She won 6 out of 7 break points as well. And only got broken twice, and that was in this set. So the 2 of the 3 games which sucks for Ryser. 2 of the 3 games that Ryser won were breaks a serve. So she didn't have a great day. But Eala, great day. Great day. And she's into the quarterfinals, and she's going to take on possibly Marino, but Marino's losing, so maybe she won't take Marino. Maybe she'll take on someone else. Congrats to Alex. Yep. Eala will lose the tournament. Cool. That's really positive. That's really negative of you. I mean, this pissed me off. Oh, but you bet against her, so that's your fault. Boo-hoo. I pray on everything Eala loses her next match. Well, I pray that you're not here the next match, because that would be really disappointing. By the way, Marino and Appleton are doubles partners, and they're playing each other. They were playing each other in the singles, so that's funny. Kind of. It's Independence Day in the Philippines. Well, celebrate with a win. Thanks for the stream. No worries. If you are leaving, don't forget to sub. A British person insulting you is laughable. Who's British? And who's insulting you? Who's Eala playing next? So Eala is playing the winner of Marino and Appleton. And at the moment, or it was, Appleton was winning. So did Appleton win? Maybe Appleton won. No, Appleton and Marino are still going. So the winner of that match will take on Eala tomorrow. And we'll definitely be watching. But good win. Good win from Eala. Probably her best win since winning since Miami. At least it seemed like her fastest win. Philippines won in tennis and women's volleyball today. Nice. Well, happy Independence Day to everybody in the Philippines. All right. Grass is faster than clay. Good for Eala. And take the ball early. Oh, 100%, Danny. 100%. All right. Congrats to Alex. Coming up just to do next match. Good luck. Well, we'll watch it tomorrow. She'll be back again. So stay tuned. So, Chad, we've got Raducanu coming up later. She's coming up third on center court. Currently, Schneider versus Bolter, which feels like that's going to go 3 hours. That's currently on court on Andy Murray Arena. Then Rybakina, and then we've got Raducanu. So maybe a few hours. Thanks again for the coverage. Watching from Sydney. Hey, what's up? Surprised Eala is doing well on grass as Rafa Nadal trainee with no grass courts. Okay. There might not be grass courts, but they do have a lot of indoor hard courts. Indoor hard courts are fast like grass. Or not, they're not always fast, but I would say that they're probably fast enough that she could probably transfer skills, right? Yeah. It's almost, I mean, that question's not as painful as the question was like, I don't understand. She plays at Rafa Academy. Why isn't she good on clay? Rafa won 14 French Opens. Like, that killed me. Every freaking day. Every time we watch it, I can't believe she's not good on grass. But she knows Rafa. Like, she's met Rafa Nadal. How is she not good on grass? Or on clay, sorry. She's met Iga Swiatek in person. Surely she can play on clay if she's met Rafa. But yeah, so anyway, so you're right, though. Rafa Academy doesn't have grass courts that I know of. But she would have trained on the indoor hard courts a lot there, I would assume. And that is fast enough that it would get her ready for grass. But yeah, that question was not as painful as the But she's not. How I thought she'd be good on clay because she shook Rafa's hand. Like, fucking hell. What are we doing? What are we doing? But yeah, you're right, though. I don't think Rafa Academy has any grass. But there's still the hard courts there would be fast enough to make her transferable, her skills transferable. Yeah, fast hard courts and grass courts. I mean, there's no real coincidence that the players that do well in Australia do well in Wimbledon, right? Djokovic, Federer, Serena, in recent times, Cilic made an Australian Open and Wimbledon final, right? So the players that do well in Australia, there's a lot of crossover on the courts of Wimbledon because of the speeds, Appleton and Marino, one set all. Ooh, there we go. Mallorca, WTA 125, I think. Really? Is it? I don't know. I do not know. Jerome.
Thanks, Cam, for featuring Eala.
No worries. Thank you for $5. Is artificial grass playable? They don't play on it, I don't think, on the tour anymore, but it's a surface. Or it was a surface. Rafa passes on his skills through osmosis. Yeah. That's why Alcaraz is so good. Hey, Azza, thank you for the 36 months. Yeah, purple ball, mate. That's crazy. Thank you for the 36 months. Bolter Schneider 2-0. Yeah, it's going to take a while. That match is going to take a while. That's all right. Ryser has already 6 wins on grass this year, so that was a good win for Eala. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Ryser's been very good on grass this year. You're right. She came through the qualies of this week and last week. And, she's had a lot more preparations on grass than Eala. But remember, chat, Eala lost to Fruhvirtova last week. Fruhvirtova made the final. So, again, when you lose to the eventual finalist, at the time we thought, Fruhvirtova's not been playing great. Eala lost. That sucks. But when you look at it look at it the week later, you go, so she lost to the player that made the final. Like Draper losing to Mensik in Miami. At the time, we were like, Draper, that wasn't good. But then Mensik won the whole thing. You're like, it actually was fine. It was fine. He lost to the eventual champion. It's okay. So it's not... Eala last week's loss was actually against the second best player of the week. You know what I mean? That's not bad. Whereas at the time, we were kind of like, that was a missed opportunity. Especially because it was so close. But then Fruhvirtova went on and made the final. So it's like, maybe it wasn't that bad then. Maybe she wasn't playing that bad. And then today, she just smoked it, right? I thought Eala would be fit. She's in the Rafa Academy. I mean, she is. She hasn't got any injuries. I remember Mallorca is played on grass and Lopez played his last match there. Yeah, I think he did. I can't remember. Yeah, happy Independence Day for the Philippines as well. Hopefully you're enjoying the day. I remember when Fruhvirtova's sisters came onto the tour and watched for them, and they disappeared in challenges. Well, yeah, now it's the Andreeva. Well, it's Andreeva, right? I still think that, Brenda Fruhvirtova is still 16, 17, right? So she could be something crazy. Linda, I think, just hasn't been consistent. But I still think she's good. She still has time, right? Why is no one talking about Swiatek posting the sweetest message for Carlos and Coco? She was all class. I haven't seen that. Did she? Because everyone's talking about Sabalenka. That's why everyone's talking about the Sabalenka comments, and it's overshadowing Swiatek's nice words. Let me highlight it though, because I want to highlight the good. So wait, what did Swiatek say? What did Swiatek say? She said, thank you to Paris. Oh, did she do it in the story or something? I haven't seen it. When was it? When did she do it? Was it on Twitter? She posted on Instagram. It's not on Instagram. Thank you, Dan, for giving me credit. I did make good predictions, didn't I? Pity Wimbledon's so close, because I would have loved to ride into the sunset on those predictions. But now I'm going to make new predictions in a week, and I'll be judged on those and not on the amazing predictions of my previous tournament. Oh, here we go. So she said, congrats to Coco and Carlos for your trophies. And you guys, what an absolute mesmerizing tennis we've seen from both of you. Wow. That's lovely. That's nice to hear. Yeah, why the hell isn't everyone talking about Swiatek's nice words? What the hell? Why is nobody talking about Swiatek being so nice? This is bullshit. I think Raducanu or Krejcikova were playing well at Wimbledon. I think Krejcikova, I don't know what to think. I don't know what she's going to do, but I think Raducanu has been consistent enough at Wimbledon that she should be good. Did you get to watch the Cell or Gothica yet? No, not yet. Not yet. Hopefully this weekend. Swiatek probably thought, don't put me in this. I don't know. I mean, she did it 3 days ago, so that might have been before all this Sabalenka stuff exploded. And Coco said, thanks so much. Oh, that's nice. Hey, Courtney Cox responded too. That's crazy. She was in a TV show that people watched in the 90s. Sabalenka just arrived in Berlin. Nice. The Cell will literally be an experience you will see. Okay. I'm excited. I'm a Filipino and a big Eala fan. She was able to advance, though this ain't a big tournament, but I believe she can pull up wins in the big tournaments like Miami. Yeah, she's just playing these tournaments to get some form. Get some confidence back after, a disappointing clay season, or at least the disappointing, run of losses. She was on a losing streak for a long time. So, yeah. Her favorite to win London is Keys. Nice. Courtney Cox is a big Swiatek fan. Is she okay? Trying to get some matches in? Yeah, exactly. All right. So, Bolter's up a break already against Schneider. So that's fun. And like I said, we've got Raducanu coming up later. But we have to wait for matches to happen in Queen's Club to get to that. All right. What are Rebecca's chances at Wimbledon? I don't know. Depends on how she looks this week and next week when she warms up for the tournaments. We can't expect anything from anyone at Wimbledon because we don't know how anyone plays on grass right now. You know what I mean? We have to wait for some grass court tennis to then start figuring out who's been in good form, because no one's in form on grass right now, except for those players who play challenges. All right, Chad, I'm going to sit over the next one. Hopefully in the next couple hours. I mean, it could be about 3 hours away, the next match, but that's all right. I'll send you over there, and you can talk amongst yourselves, or you can come back later. But good win by Eala. Back-to-back wins for the first time since Miami. She takes it 6-1, 6-2. Gets some revenge over a player that she's also lost to this year, so that was a good win. Bit of a revenge win. But we'll watch Raducanu in a couple hours.